Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I hope this video finds you well wherever you are in the world. I'd like to make a brief announcement, if I may, about something that I have already talked about, but I just wanted to give a little reminder that on Saturday, February 8th, 2020. So once again, Saturday, February 8th, 2020 at 11 p.m. Japan time. It's 11 p.m. Japan time. I will have a live stream where I will continue the what's now commonly referred to in this channel as the film club, wherein I choose a film or a film is chosen by you, the viewers, and that film becomes the topic of discussion for whatever it is, 2 hours plus during the live stream. And I'll talk about it, and I'll also read your comments in the live chat as they progress about this particular film. And for this coming Saturday, again, Saturday, February 8th, 2020, starting at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. The film that I have been very fortunate to have chosen is this one, which is the film directed by Mario Bava. This is the film with the English title Blood and Black Lace. This is a sort of a horror film, a thriller film, a kind of giallo film, and I will talk to a certain degree about giallo and what that means and what the significance of that particular genre is in the context of this film, at least the way that I perceive it to be. And so it's a giallo film. It's also a type of slasher film in the sense that there are killings of characters. There is a sort of whodunit element to this film. There is a mystery element to this film, but it is also quite intense, quite graphic. Sometimes the blood effects can be very intense, even for a film of this type and of its time. And so I urge you to not watch it if this sort of film is not your cup of tea. It is a very intense film, so I wouldn't expect this film to be for everyone. And if it is not for you, then there's no need to watch it, my friends. But for those of you for whom this sort of film is okay for viewing, then I would very much love to see you at the live stream where I hope to hear your comments about this very fascinating, bold, and artistically clever work that is by Mario Bava. Just to make some general comments about it, I have seen this film quite a number of times, and I have seen the film quite a number of times recently, given the recent release that was made, or I should say relatively recent release that was made by Arrow. And the presentation here is the best that it's ever been in. And so we are very fortunate to be able to have this presentation and to be able to see it like this, I think. It's such a that's really important because it's such a colorful work. It's a work that relies heavily on flashing lights and warped uses of color and changes in tone of the screen and the mise-en-scène to create this thing which we call atmosphere. And it's this atmosphere, I think, that propels the narrative forward in a way that feels like it is reaching some kind of conclusion on the one hand, but then we realize that there is still a kind of intensely soaked, nightmarish quality to the film and its proceedings, that we realize that in actual fact logic is thrown out the window, and we are given instead a really master class in bravura, in-your-face filmmaking style that never hides from its artistic ambitions and its attempts at presenting a sort of new form, if you will, of the whodunit slasher film. And then in the process, it creates something that is sort of the prototype of many sorts of films to follow, even up to this present day. So this film, I think, holds a lot of keys of genre elements that were really so well developed in this film, and it'll be my pleasure to try to identify some of those for discussion during the live stream. It is also how should I put it? It is an atmospheric chiller, and there are a lot of different tools at its disposal that it uses, that Mario Bava and company use in order to increase the levels of suspense and action, and also tragedy, and also dread and fear in a way that is ultimately something that one must see to believe. Some of the scenes are really quite shocking, and it's really quite inventive the way this is shown on screen. There is nothing gratuitous necessarily, but there is a real sense of artistry and craft and editing that all's coming together to create moments of shock and horror and awe. So these are some elements that hopefully I'll try to get into as well. There's also much that can be said about the lingering camera, the eye of Bava, if you will, and it's almost like an eye of God type of shot that is often employed in many aspects of this film. It's almost often the case that the camera itself becomes its own character, almost an omnipresence that creates an interesting fourth dimensional type of quality to this film that also gives it an aspect of being very, very clever. And this is also something that I want to talk about during the live stream. As well as other elements of this film that I think are so effective and really quite chilling, even when watched to this very day. This film holds up incredibly, immensely well, and so it'll be my pleasure, my friends, to talk with you and to hear your thoughts and comments about this classic giallo thriller, which is called Blood and Black Lace by Mario Bava. I will be relying on this particular release that I have, which is the Arrow video release. This is the UK Blu-ray, the sort of standard Blu-ray that I think is still available. But it has the great benefit of being all region, and so I can play this, on my Japanese Blu-ray player without a problem, and so it's really great. And you can see it has that. It says on the back Region A and Region B on the back. It doesn't say anything else beyond that, so I'm not sure about anything else. But it says Region A and Region B. So if you're in one of those regions, you're definitely set, at least according to the back here. There are a lot of great supplements here, and so I would recommend considering getting this if you haven't already. This particular release that I have has a great commentary, a great commentary by the one and only Tim Lucas. It's Bava expert and giallo expert, and his commentary on this is just fantastic. And just listening to it is a real delight and treat. And then there is also a wonderful documentary on this, on the making of this film, and also the significance of this film. In particular, scenes and shot analyses about this film, which is called Psychoanalysis, and it's about an hour or so. A really fantastic documentary on Blood and Black Lace. Please check it out if you haven't already. And then other highlights here include an appreciation by the filmmakers of The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears, and also there is a film, sort of short film called Yellow, which is a kind of modern day short film thriller, but it's also an homage to giallo and to Italian horror films and thrillers as well. And then there is a gender and giallo visual essay, which by Michael Mackenzie, which also goes into the history of giallo and also its uses of not necessarily gender politics, but gender considerations when watching these particular films. And then there is a panel discussion, which is sort of an audio recording panel discussion, which includes comments by Lamberto Bava and Dario Argento. And they're talking quite a bit about a lot of things, but much of their focus is actually talking about their work with Mario Bava, which is very illuminating and interesting. And then there is a great archive interview episode called The Sinister Image, Cameron Mitchell. So it's a long and really wonderfully in-depth interview, one-on-one interview with the great Cameron Mitchell, who is the star of this film. And so it's wonderful to hear him and to hear about his career and the like. Incidentally, when you get into these supplements, I think you will get a sense of how much Cameron Mitchell really admired Mario Bava. And there's a particular anecdote that's relayed in one of the supplements about how Cameron Mitchell really felt that Mario Bava should have been and should be considered among the greats and should be included in the pantheon of great filmmakers and artists, not just as a horror film or as a genre filmmaker, but as a true artist of cinema. So there's that. And then to round out the supplements, there's also the alternative U.S. opening titles, which is included as its own supplement. It's a very interesting thing. The reasoning for that is given a brief explanation by, I think, Tim Lucas in the audio commentary track. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out. But this is to say that this package, this single disc package which I have, is very much a great thing. I think also there have been many releases of Mario Bava films by Arrow. Recently there was a box set release as well by Arrow as well. So I think these films can be readily available through the Arrow label if you're interested. And you don't have to stick with Arrow if you can find these through other means. Of course, I recommend that you take a look. Once again, I should re-emphasize that this film is a sort of stylish thriller giallo, and while it might not necessarily be in-your-face, bloody violent in the way in which more modern horror films are these days, still it is an intense watch. And so I would just urge caution for those of you for whom these sorts of films might not be the easiest thing. But for the rest of you out there who are interested, and you haven't seen the film yet, you still have time to catch up with the film Blood and Black Lace. And if you are able to, my friends, I would love to see you once again at the live stream, which is scheduled for February 8th, Saturday, February 8th, 2020, at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. And that'll be a live stream where it'll be my pleasure to talk with you about the film Blood and Black Lace. Okay, my friends, that's it for now. So Please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. As always, take good care of yourselves, and until we meet again, cheers.